Hi Leo, welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for August of 2020, which is your month. So probably your birthday either just was or is coming very soon. And this month's moons and Mercury activity are going to have a lot of information for you. But even before that, what's more important perhaps is Mars. And Julia is going to tell you all about that. Hey Julia.
All right. Well, Leo. So Mars is slowing down this month. It's not going retrograde yet. That's going to happen next
Hmm.
month. But as it slows down, we begin to feel some of the themes that Mars retrograde is going to bring up, which
Yeah.
are namely frustrations. Jamie and I actually did a video on the Mars retrograde cycle and how it will impact the greater world. So you should also check that out too.
Yeah.
So all of this Mars activity is happening in your ninth house. That's the house of travel. That's the house of experience, everything that broadens you. It also rules legal matters, promotion. So you could feel frustrating, or you could feel frustrations that your freedom of movement is really, really restricted. This is a very, very stir crazy time for you.
Yeah, and
Um,
also higher education, right?
oh, right, higher education.
Frustration if you're in
If you're in
college.
or if you're learning anything new, that's to expand your maybe professional knowledge. That can also be a very frustrating time too. Also, legal matters, or if you do any promotional work too, Leo, you
Mhm.
could run into blocks and frustrations around it. Now, Mercury, the planet of communication, is direct and fast, and it enters Leo on August 4th, which correlates with your first house. The first house is the house of self. So when Mercury comes in here, we become really, really articulate. We become very good at expressing
Hmm.
ourselves, at getting our point across. And since Mercury is such a rational planet, it means that you can respond to situations with your rationality first and maybe your emotions second. So
Hmm.
it could be a good transit if you need to sort of distance yourself a little bit from a subject to really think it over.
Yeah.
Venus, the planet of art, beauty, relationships, is also direct and fast, and she enters Cancer on August 7th, which correlates with your 12th house of sacrifice. So, Venus in the 12th can correlate with a time where we have to make sacrifices within our relationships. Maybe your partner needs some help, or your friends need a little bit of help, and you have to kind of put your own needs aside for them. This is also a house of charity, and Venus represents money, so you could feel like donating to charities a lot during this time too. Now, Venus in the 12th does have a hard time with boundaries in relationships too,
Hmm.
like giving away a little bit too much. So just be a little bit cautious of that.
Yeah. But by and large, it's probably a pretty good month for relationships because of the way that can soften you, Leo.
That's
That can
true.
be a good thing. So there are a couple of moons happening, and they plug into those Mercury themes pretty well too. The first one on August 3rd is a full moon in Leo, and this is your birthday month. And if your birthday already was, then you've already started your personal new year. And you might want a birthday reading so that you can get a jump on what's coming for you this year. But if your birthday hasn't happened yet, then you're still in your yearly mop-up period, which happens during the 30 days or so before your birthday. And that's a time when you feel this extra pressure to complete last year's themes so that you can begin this year's themes in a fresh way. And and so this full moon, which brings a lot of the attention to relationships, falling right here in Aquarius in your seventh house, is going to, bring some balance to all the themes of self that your birthday month are, so embodies. Now, this full moon, the thing to really notice about it is that Uranus here forms a pretty tight square to the moon, to the full moon, and that's going to bring up, I think, some arguments, some stubbornness, some reactivity, especially with your communities, with your friends, as well as with your partner. So don't try to get your friends to arbitrate your arguments with your partner because that could just make things messier. There is no us in compromise, is what we've dubbed this particular moon. And I think it's going to get a lot better when Mercury moves into your first house. And like Julia said, you're going to be more articulate and probably more charming with your words and more persuasive too. So later on in the month, around the 18th, we have got a new moon, which falls right in your first house there in Leo. And new moons are great times for new beginnings. This particular one is just has this lovely feel that comes from it including Mercury and a grand trine in fire. So it involves the South Node in Sagittarius and also that Mars up in Aries. And you could be quite charismatic under this new moon. And so it's a really great time to project your voice and your message out into the world because no doubt it's going to get heard. So if you do want that birthday reading, Julie and I can be found at pandoraastrology.com/services, where you can find all the kinds of readings that we do, most particularly the birthday reading, which comes with a free recording all about your personal year. And definitely check out the video that we've made about Mars triggering the pandemic hot degree. And you'll find that in our, what is it? The Astrology of Pandemic Year 2020 playlist. That's the best place to find that. And you can always find these horoscopes on our website too at pandoraastrology.com/horoscope. And we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye.